This deputy shot at an unarmed, handcuffed, detained person inside the cop car because he mistook a falling acorn for gunshots. This is how it went. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Jesse Lyon, a licensed counselor who gives you the psychology behind pop culture. And today, I swear I can't make this up. I promise it's not a Family Guy episode. It's not an episode of Reno 911. This is real life. And of course, you want to take a guess? Put it in the comments down below before I say it. What state do you think this happened in? Just take a guess. Florida, my home state. Of course. What other state is it going to be? This is some Florida kind of shit for sure. So this deputy is dealing with a whole situation. I watched the entire police academy video, police activity video, and went through and reviewed all the footage so that way you don't have to. But here's what happened, and we got to get to the psychology behind why police officers do this kind of thing and what kind of people are attracted to being police officers as well. We're going to discuss a lot, but here's the story. Two police officers show up. There's this woman who's calling the police about her boyfriend who stole a car. Claimed grand theft auto, and he did steal the car, and he's been texting this girl, 22-year-old girl, these pictures of him with a gun in her car saying, I'm gonna mess your stuff up, I'm gonna break your things. And so the police come and they're like, all right, let's take a statement. The guy comes walking up, they're like, where's the car? He's like, I ain't telling you where the car is. And so he had stashed the car somewhere. They find it later in the video. It's about 2-3 miles away in another apartment complex. And so this girl's showing the police officers the video. Yep, he's got guns in this car and stuff. And so they detain the guy. They put him in handcuffs. They search him, right? And this is key for the story. They pat him down, and you can see right here, they're talking to this guy, and if we fast forward a little bit, they're going to have a conversation with him. And then they're like, all right, detain him, pat him down. And say, check his pockets. Like, oh, what's this? What's this? He's like, oh, that's a car key. Puts it in his pocket. He's like, wait, take your hands out of here. Pay special attention, by the way, to Officer Captain McDouchebag over here. This is the one. This is the one we're going to be talking about today. And so they search him. They're like, all right, sounds good. Now, could they have done a better job? They didn't pat down his head. They didn't pat down his chest. They didn't check his shoes. So they could have done a better job patting him down, done a better full body search, but they did check him. And then in a second here, they're going to put him in handcuffs. So here you go. They put him in the handcuffs. They're like, all right, take him over the cop car. He stole this girl's car. That's grand theft auto. That's a felony. We're going to have to deal with this situation. So she just asked, where's the car? And he's like, can I talk to her? She's like, no, you can't talk to her. Tell us where the car is. So he ain't talking. He's going to read him his Miranda rights, and then it's going to continue. And then it gets a little boring. She's crying a whole bunch. Listen, understandably so. This is a tense situation. I'm not saying that, but I'm going to skip ahead to get to the important parts. Now, for YouTube, I'm not going to actually show guns drawn or anything like that, but I will show you the sound that supposedly was a silenced gunshot. Now, he says that he thought it was a silenced gunshot, which in the pictures, it does show that this person had a silencer, but when you review the footage, let's just get to it here. He's going to put his gloves on because he's going to go over, he's going to do a search, So he starts walking over to the car. See if you can hear this. Right about here. Did you hear that? Yeah, me either. Right about here. That was an acorn hitting the cop car. He loses it. Falls on the ground, rolling on the ground. Oh my gosh. And then he pulls out his gun and starts firing, empties an entire magazine into the back of his own patrol car. Let's take a look at this from another angle, from the Sergeant Beth's angle. Pay special attention to this. This is the gentleman right here. This is the one in question. Captain McFIFA Flopper over here. It's like when someone touches you in a football game and you just go flop. That's what's about to happen over here.
Walking is a little minute, but driving is not too far.
I'm pulling out your full time.
Okay.
So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
It's okay.
Then he starts screaming, "Shots fired! Shots fired!"
What?
And she's like, "What? What? I didn't hear shit. I didn't hear nothing." And I don't know. Listen, I grew up in Florida, right? So been shooting guns all my life, suppressed guns, regular guns, all this stuff. Suppressors and silencers, same thing. They don't mute the noise, right? One of the biggest misunderstandings about like John Wick is they have like, you ever seen that scene in John Wick where they're like shooting each other inside the mall and nobody knows because it's absolutely dead silent? Silencers don't work like that. They're still loud as hell. But it just means that you don't have to wear hearing protection if you don't want to. It makes it like that much. It's safe to not wear hearing protection, but it's still loud. It's a big clap. And so she doesn't even hear anything because after it was found out, it was an acorn hitting the top of the car. So he's rolling. You see him. He's over here on the ground right there, figuring this whole thing out. He's over here rolling on the ground. Oh my gosh, shots fired, shots fired. And there's a reason psychologically that this kind of thing happens. And so let's talk about a couple situations here. Number one, why would a person respond this way? Well, think about it, right? And we know this from research in psychology. Two things. We're dealing with individuals here that are in a dangerous situation. This person's stealing cars and running around with guns inside of the car. So everybody's senses are hyper aware, right? We are hyper aware for danger here. This person, right, this officer wants to go back home to his family, and I get that, right? This is a dangerous situation. Being a police officer is a very dangerous type of job. So we're at this heightened elevation. We've also got a gun strapped to our hip. And we know from psychology that when you put a gun in somebody's hands or have a gun around them, they are more likely to inappropriately identify other objects as guns as well. It's like a suggestion, right? If you have a gun in your hand, you're going to think somebody else has a gun in theirs. If you have a banana in your hand, you're going to think that that person's thing is a banana. So it's like almost hypnotic in a way. And this is where, some principles of hypnosis do take place. If I'm already primed to think gun, 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 I'm going to incorrectly identify things as guns. And so, well, police officers are in dangerous situations. Who knows what previous experience and what previous trauma this police officer has of being shot at before. And so they're hyper vigilant and they're like at a hair pulse, clearly, like a hair trigger of explosion, ready to just go into fight or flight mode. And you see, that's what happened here. It was an overactive response. And we all do this, right? Whether it's being afraid to speak our mind in a public or friendship setting because the last time we really embarrassed ourselves. And so now we expect that same thing to happen. It's the same type of thing happening here. But there's another thing that I want to talk about. There's a very particular type of individual who's attracted to the police department. And I may catch some flack for saying this, but I think it's a discussion worth having. I think there's two types of individuals. One who's attracted to being a police officer because they're addicted to power. And it's a pretty nasty thing, right? To be the one type of individual who can break the law and goes in and does things that other people aren't allowed to do and gets to force people and handcuff people and make them comply with stuff. That's pretty powerful. And so there's a certain kind of person who's attracted to that kind of power and will get into the police academy, police department because they crave that kind of power. You don't want that kind of person in a position of power like that. But let's say it's the other side, right? There are many people who get into the police department who genuinely want to help and make the world a better place. But the only types of people that you end up helping in the police department are the ones who are ungrateful, not happy that you're there, and you're not going to be thanked for the type of job that you're doing. And so that desire to help keep the world safe and make the world a better place quickly crumbles. And these people get burnt out, they get tired, they get bitter, they get angry. And so either you're attracted to the police department because you crave power, or you get in because you genuinely want to help, and then it crushes your spirit. And now you're a bitter, angry person that wants to help the world, but can't help the world, and everybody's pissed that you're there. It's a recipe for disaster. And I don't know which type of person this is, right? But you can see there are some things that did not happen the way that they're supposed to. It's a bit of psychology that I think needs to be brought up and something that we really need to think about and consider. And not only consider from the point of reference of being a police officer, but consider from our own preconceived biases, right? What is it about our life that we're assuming is going to take place in other people's lives? And what is it about our past experiences that taints and poisons our expectations of future experiences? Something you should be considering and something that we saw played out, unfortunately, here in this interaction. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.